Good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you live. This is Pregaming. I'm Serena Morales, and this is my friend, the degenerate, Kevin Klein.
Good morning, cuppers, cappers. Time to unite and talk about the games will win you the most amount of money and hopefully keep you out of debt and keep you from running from your bookie, which is what has brought me to the West Coast after a just disastrous streak of 3-4 years of gambling. And now I've surrounded myself with winners and cappers, and hopefully you guys, and together we'll make some money while we enjoy. This is not like your shiny floor pregame shows. We don't have suits and ties. We don't have the budget for suits and ties. We're drinking out of these cups because A, they're terrible for the environment, but B, it's the best we could afford.
That's right. If you can't afford a jersey, you can win one. How many total yards will Patrick Mahomes have against the Broncos for Sunday Night Football? Are they playing Sunday Night Football? For today, the closest answer will win a jersey of your choice and we'll send it your way. So make sure you like us, subscribe to the Game Day NFL on YouTube, and come and watch our show and leave a comment, and we'll give away a jersey. That's how it works around here. We're live on YouTube every Sunday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern, giving your picks with the best gambling experts who actually gamble and give you good betting advice. Kevin and I, we just want to punch our tickets, but we don't necessarily know where to go. He's a degenerate. I'm a woman wearing a Danny Trejo's taco sweatshirt. So we're going to have on our usual suspects, Kenny Betts Big, who has no Instagram at the moment, and Danny Brasco, who is live from Vegas, and you'll be able to tell that in just a moment.
Yeah, I don't know. Right now, the first bet of the day will be, will he actually still be coherent when we get him on in about 5-10 minutes? Because we just did a brief check-in a moment ago, and he was on fumes already after apparently a long night at the blackjack table. So we will see right now. One of the sleepers of the day, it's not a pick, it's Danny Brasco, because I think he'll be sleeping today is what I think. But we'll get into that a little bit later on. Plus, as you know, your questions, we will answer them all. That's right. Don't go to your loser friend that doesn't know anything and lives in his van. Come to us if you've got questions. Get them to us in the comments. We will answer as many of them as we can. Rapid fire Q&A as we wrap up the show. So if you're still in your eliminator, you got questions about props, you got questions about overs, unders, whatever they may be, parlays, teas, maybe you're coming off some good college picks yesterday, get them to us. We will answer them before we get the hell out of here this morning.
That's right. So let's get the hell into our 2-minute drill. Get that timer going. Kevin, what you got?
Well, we're entering like a very interesting part of the season right now where you've got some teams, they know their season is done already. They're playing for nothing, maybe a draft pick, maybe pride, but who really wants pride anymore? And then you've got teams that are kind of in must-win situations. As a result, I find these over-unders to be very intriguing today. Like in a season where I've seen many weeks where most of the games were upwards of 50 points, some as high as almost 60. Today is one of those days where the over-unders are very low. I mean, the highest one is just over 50, and that's a Tom Brady game at 50.5. That's, of course, the Bucs and the Falcons, just barely creeping over that 50 mark. Most of the games are actually in the low 40s. There's even one that creeped into the 30s. You can get an over-under in an NFL Sunday game, and it's the Giants Miami Dolphins game. And like when I look at some of these teams that are, yeah, I know it depends on defenses and injuries and weather and everything else, but I look at some of these over-unders and I think to myself, this is going to be a points-a-palooza today. I love the overs on a lot of games. We'll talk about them, I'm sure, when we have the cappers on, but just be aware that all of these lines have moved. Average over-under today is about 6 points lower than it was even 2 weeks ago. So something to think about as you put in your over-under bets, which, as you know, we love and Danny Brasco hates.
Oh, yeah. Gardner Minshew is going to start for the Eagles, and he still claims he plays for the Jaguars on his Twitter profile. Check this out. Look, despite his inability to update his profession, he says QB for the Jacksonville Jaguars, which is insane, and he's in a car with the Jaguar. I think this is going to play well. Last time Minshew played the Jets, he was in Jacksonville. He threw for 279 yards, 3 touchdowns. He was sacked twice, but threw 0 interceptions. And the Eagles are the best running team in the league. So you don't have a single player with 100 rushing yards. They've been running the ball with a bunch of different players. Minshew's going to throw the ball, and they're going to throw off the Jets completely. So I just feel like this was all strategy here. He's like, let him think I still play for the Jacksonville Jaguars because I'd rather play for them right now and beat the Jets.
Well, put up his profile again on Twitter because I like the fact that if you look at the hashtags he's got up there, He's got the Go Cougs, so he's a fan of middle-aged horny women, which I think is important as well. Go Cougs, right? Who's with me?
Anyone who likes middle-aged horny women will beat the Jets today. So there you have it.
It's your 2-minute drill right there. Did we cover anything? Probably not. Let's go ahead and give you some of the hot headlines that are buzzing around the league right now before we bring our cappers on to join us. Of course, later on, we'll also give you my totally exclusive prop that you can only get right here at the game day. Let's talk about this, Serena. These are the big moments I think that we are talking about right now, rapid fire style. What do we got?
I'm just waiting for Tom to give me a cup ding today. Like, I feel like I had 2 solid ones. Either way.
No, cups are hard to come by. No, you don't pander for the red cup. You earn the cup. You don't pander for the cup. That's sad and pathetic.
Like you've never pandered.
No pandering for the cup.
First question. Big Ben, he's told a couple close teammates and apparently Adam Schefter that he will hang up his cleats at the end of the season. Makes sense. Good choice. So, question, what's Big Ben going to do after he retires, Kevin?
Well, Big Ben has senioritis right now, and not like the same way that high schools get it, but the same way that senior citizens get it. He's gonna go sit on a hammock for a very long time and relax. He's been hit an awful lot, and he started the season looking great. I mean, I remember hearing the talk, the chatter was Big Ben, he's back. Big Ben's going to have his best season ever. And the past few weeks have obviously not gone that way. So Big Ben will get a much deserved relaxation. I'm going to assume a one-way ticket to the Atlantis and the Bahamas. Not a plug, but if you're hiring, we're interested.
Does it even fit on like a hammock? I don't know. They make them big enough for that, man. It's freaking massive. Adrian Peterson, is he going to do anything to help the Seahawks? Because he was just released from the Titans like a few weeks ago, and now he's with the Seahawks. And Pete Carroll's like, I've known this guy since high school. He's going to be great.
Well, this season, I think he was averaging something to the tune of, when he did get the ball, like 3 yards a carry, but also sometimes 3 yards a game, because that was all he was doing. I think the biggest help he can be for the Seahawks is in jersey sales. So perhaps there's a fan that's going to load up on grab one of those limited edition AP jerseys while they're still available. I think that will be, the off the field contributions will be much more useful than the on the field contributions.
Hit up the 12s. Gardner Minshew, we just talked about Minshew mania for a reason. What's better, his mullet or his mustache? And which would help win a football game?
I just feel like he's rubbing it in Kenny Bett's big face. Kenny Bett's big is talking about flying internationally for hair transplant surgery. This guy's got too much hair on under his nose and on the back of his neck. I mean, it's unbelievable. This guy's rolling, and talk about betting locks. This guy's rolling in locks all over the place. He's like going through extra puberty everywhere. The mustache, as you know, is much less helpful in a competitive standpoint than the mullet. The mullet is way more important when it comes to rallying, and I think it also gives, as you know, you can tackle a player by their hair. I mean, that is allowed in the NFL, braids, etc. So the mullet, if anything, I think is going to come back to maybe harm him. So for superstitious reasons, I say go with the mullet, but on the field, the mustache is probably more useful. Yeah.
Yeah, I would like, if I was someone that could grow a mustache that long, like Andy Reid, you can't even see his lips because the mustache is so overpowerful.
Right.
Like,
smart. Lip readers
play.
can't see the play. Also, you should see Serena, before she does hair and makeup for this show, huge mustache. She's rocking it.
Oh, yeah. What's longer? Backup quarterback for the Giants. This man is tall. Mike Glennon. Or the average height
Glennon, the neck.
of a white linebacker.
Yeah. Yeah, well, listen, this is the longest neck. I don't know if we have a picture of him to show. I don't think we do, but Google him for a moment. I mean, this is the longest neck in the history of necks ever. It would take you like 4 or 5 months. Yeah, but just the neck, I bet 2 feet of that is all neck right there. So remarkable. If that guy doesn't live in Great Neck, Long Island, it's a damn shame, because that's where he should be living. It is the greatest neck I've ever seen. I believe that he is longer than the average length of a white rhino. If you had to bet that, take him. Take that neck. That neck is impressive. You do a hickey on that, Serena, it would take you like 5 months to get that done.
In 9 days, former NFL running back Frank Gore, he's going to fight former Nets point guard Darren Williams. Who do you think wins this fight?
I'm gonna go with Gore. He's low to the ground. He's aggressive. I think that he's also still. I mean, he's not in his NFL prime, but I think he could be in his angry fighting people prime. So I go ahead and say Gore. My money's on Gore.
I want more in these fights.
Gore and 4.
4-4. Just a reminder, that wraps up our rapid fire. Reminder, how many total yards will Patrick Mahomes have against the Broncos today? Make sure you comment in our comment section. Also, leave us some questions. We'll answer those later on in the show. But we'll give you a jersey of your choice to the person who gets closest to the correct answer. With that, would you like to start our Power Hour?
Let's do it.
So,
Cappers, unite. Here they are. Wow. From the depths of Instagram, Kenny bets big, currently banned, coming off of some monster predictions with college football yesterday. And obviously, from 6 feet beneath the earth, the Undertaker who loves unders, Danny Brasco, looking like he is surviving a zombie apocalypse. What's up?
What's going on, guys? How you doing?
oh my God.
Oh, I'm hurt, guys. Vegas is it's not an easy place to come away with your health, but I'm having a good time. I'm here for it. So good to be with you guys.
You
Let's
can't
roll.
tell if Danny's in Vegas or at a wedding. Just a reminder, we're here Sunday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern. We're giving you your best gambling hits with gamblers who, look, you can really trust them. And if you look at Danny, you're like, man, I'm going to trust that guy. Kenny Bets Big, Danny Brasco. They're going to help us make the best decisions today, and we're going to help Danny drink some more water. Let's get started with the Cappers. Kenny, I'm going to start with you just because I feel like it's a better choice in all things, considering you've got 49ers at Seahawks, and you are going with the Seahawks?
Yeah, right. It's you gotta kind of like ask yourself if that's what you're reading, right? But the Seahawks Thursday night against the Washington football team, almost messed that up. They looked as bad as a football team could look out there. It wasn't until the last 2 minutes of the game where Russ actually got things going. But I think that could ultimately give them a little momentum going forward. I think this game really comes down to if the Seahawks quit or not. They don't look great in where they're at. Their chances at making the playoffs are slim to none. So if this team quit, it's not going to be a good game. I think with Russell Wilson back under Pete Carroll, I don't think this team has quit in them. So I like the Seahawks here +3.
Which is, Kevin, did you have something to say with your face?
Well, I feel like Kenny is just saying that to make us all angry because it seems like the one thing you're stating there that you haven't stated, but I feel like you're saying it with your eyes, is that everyone in the public looks at this line and goes, the Niners have been winning a ton of games lately and they look great. They look like they're a team that's on the come up. The Seahawks cannot put anything together and have just looked terrible week after week. So this line, if you were just thinking about it in your head, you go, it's got to be a 7.5, 9.5 point, whatever. I know these teams always play each other closely, but it seems like you're more anti the public than you are pro Seahawks on this one.
Yeah, that's why I don't have too many talking points for this game other than, looking at the line, right? Like you can't say many good things about the Seahawks. They looked terrible last week. But yeah, when you look at this line, it just does not make sense. The 49ers, they look very good the last few weeks. To Brasco's credit, he pointed out that they're going to get hot and rattle off a few wins. But division game, the Niners are 2-7-1 against the spread in their last 10 trips to Seattle. Russell Wilson, another week to get healthier, let that hand and finger heal. So yeah, I think this is just a good spot to fade the public. It's definitely a trap line. I always talk about you got to stay away from those fishy lines. And I think this is definitely a game where I could see Seattle, covering the 3, but even winning outright.
Wow. Danny, before you throw up, what do you think? Because Deebo Samuel, big deal for the Niners. No Deebo.
Yeah, well, first of all, Kevin's right. Too late. When you guys were doing the 2-minute drill, I went and yacked in the corner. That's not a joke. But
you and all the other viewers. You and everyone else who watches this show.
Well, it's hard. Seattle's just on auto fade right now. Like they just looked atrocious. Serena, you're right. Deebo Samuel being out, I think that contributes to why this line is so low. Like I agree, the Niners should be like -6.5 favorites here. Kenny did bring up my one concern is that Pete Carroll does coach well against the Niners when they play at CenturyLink, but like he said, like I wonder if this whole team is just quitting right now. What do they have to play for left? They have no run game. Pete Carroll loves to really pound the rock and then open up the pass game through that. They can't run anything. Wilson, we keep waiting for him to have one more week for that finger to heal, one more week for him to get, back on beat, and it's just not happening. And what I've noticed more than anything is their offensive line is just getting crushed, and he has no time to do anything. So against Nick Bosa, against Eric Armstead, against that Niners defense that looks really gritty and hard-nosed right now, I've cashed 3 straight tickets on them. I'm not going to stop. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So even though the line may look a little fishy, which I do agree with and I think is a good point, I can't, get off this Niners train right now. So Niners to the moon. Let's ride it again.
Even Danny can see this. But Kenny, even Danny can see this through his lady's glasses that he stole last night in Vegas. He can see that this line is it's so questionable. But when you hear about the Seahawks playing at home, you always hear about the 12th man, But the problem is not the 12th man. The problem is the first 11 men that can't seem to put anything together on the field, which is the real issue right now. So I still it's weird. I got to go with a drunk, hungover guy that smells of vomit wearing lady glasses, or Kenny who's saying something that I truly don't believe in my gut. But I got to decide which one of you guys I'm going to ride with today, because I am going to put money on this game. Serena, you've got to make the same pick. Right now, it's like we have to fade the cappers on this show and figure out which one we trust the most.
Yeah,
nice glasses,
I think the loss of Deebo Samuel is going to be bigger than a lot of people think. The last few games, he's averaging over 70 yards on the ground. The 49ers, they've been rolling since they've got that ground game going. So no Deebo Samuel, I think a lot of people are going to realize how big of a part of that offense he really is today.
And to that point, that's my one concern about this game here. Deebo has been huge for them. So they got to scheme stuff to be able to put someone in his place. So as long as someone can fill those shoes, but yeah, he's been huge. So it's a fair point.
Which is why I kind of felt that the ±3 was, because I was like, okay, well, no Deebo. They sort of lowered the expectations for the Niners. Speaking of running backs, Kenny, your next game, you have Chargers +3 in Cincy. What if Joe Mixon has a field day against this amazing Chargers defense?
Yeah, I mean, it's possible, but I don't think that's going to happen, not this week. Chargers getting back their starting left guard. So, offensive line going to be a little healthier this week to protect Herbert. Bengals have a couple questionable players on their offensive line. So, look for Joe Burrow to get pressured early and often in this game. The Chargers, a lot of people looked at their last week game against Denver where they struggled mightily. They just got, trounced off the field versus the Broncos. Big difference, though, this week versus last week. The Broncos blitz a ton. The Bengals blitz the 6th fewest amount of times in the NFL. Justin Herbert, 3rd in the NFL in EPA per play when he's not facing too much pressure. So I think he's going to have a clean pocket this week, and I think he'll be able to pick apart that Bengals secondary. And I think we'll see a Chargers team that looked more similar to what they looked like in the beginning of the season than we have seen the last few weeks. And, you could even play the game, Bengals coming off a huge division win over the Steelers. Chargers played the Steelers 2 weeks ago. Both teams, smacked the Steelers up. So I think in a game that really is closer to a pick'em, I would prefer to have the 3. I would buy this up to +3.5 and feel pretty good about that line.
Kevin, you have anything to say about this decision that Kenny has made?
Kenny has every week publicly made me have to defend the Bengals. It's the one constant on this show is that every week he's got to say something against the Bengals or about the team that's playing the Bengals. And I've got to sit here as the one, and I've been doing this since week 1. I'm like, I talk about the eye of the tiger. Even week 1, I remember you guys on here. I think it was Bengals, maybe Vikings week 1. It's hard for me to remember all the games. And it was just like, lock. The Vikings are great. The Bengals suck. And then somehow I got put into the role of being the ultimate Bengals defender. I think the Bengals are one of the best teams. And I hate most things from Ohio. I'm not a fan of most anything from Ohio. But I have to now defend the Bengals on a weekly basis. And I'm happy to do it because more often than not, sticking with the Bengals have cashed week after week after week. Money line bets, spread bets. They've been doing a nice job covering. And the Chargers, I think, have lost 3 out of their last 4. They haven't been that impressive. I feel like the Chargers of recent are the Chargers now, not the Chargers that we saw at the beginning of the season. So, yeah, Kenny, I'm not going to tell. Listen, you're the guy that makes all the money. You're the guy with the stacks of cash. I'm the guy with the scratcher lottery tickets. I understand why people would go with your insight over my insight as just run-of-the-mill degenerate. But once again, I feel like the Bengals got themselves another win in their the Chargers. I mean, if you saw that game last week against the Broncos, I don't know how you could put $1 on the Chargers and feel good about that ever.
Yeah, I just think it comes down to scheme. The NFL is a week by week, league. So you can't. Sometimes you have to look at last week and kind of throw those results out because every team's schematics are totally different. Like the Broncos blitz a ton. Justin Herbert is the 13th ranked quarterback in EPA per play against a blitz heavy approach. He's 3rd when he's not facing a ton of pressure. So against a Bengals team that, like I already said, is 6th, they blitz the 6th fewest times out of any team in the NFL. He should have a pretty clean pocket to throw the ball all over the field like we saw him do earlier this season. So yeah, I think there's a good play.
Kenny, don't be mad because you lost your Instagram. That's what Kevin has over you is his Instagram account. I will say the last time the Bengals, they blew out a divisional rival, they lost the next 2 games, and that was including the Jets. They lost to the Jets. So, yeah, I kind of feel, I don't know. Well, we'll get to our picks in a second. Danny, you've been very silent, not throwing up. You're holding it in, so appreciate you for that. Again, back to Ravens. You have the Ravens -4 at Steelers. Big Ben told his teammates he's hanging up his cleats at the end of the season. Are you just like, yeah, just forget you, Steelers, we're going Ravens?
Great. I love the way you set me up, Serena, because I like, especially in like fighting, if you bet on boxing or UFC, if someone announces before the fight that they're going to retire, immediately fade them. You got 1 foot out the door. What are you fighting for, right? You're just there for the experience and the paycheck and to say bye to the fans. You're not winning the fight. So that's how I feel in this spot, right? He's ready to pack it up. And you can't put your money on Big Ben at this point. Like the Ravens and the Niners were my picks last week, so a little bit of deja vu here, but 2-0. I like riding these teams. And the Ravens, that game last week was a little sketchy against the Browns. Even Lamar throwing 4 picks, 4 interceptions, they still covered. They did their best to try to lose me that bet, and they still ended up doing it. So in this spot here against the Steelers, I think it's a great matchup. Again, divisional rival where beat them, they put them away, and really solidify themselves as the AFC North winners. The Ravens are one of the best ground attacks in the league. Steelers are 28th at stopping the run, so they're giving up over 130 yards on the ground. And if you let Lamar and company do what they want to do on the ground, they're able to open up everything in that offense. So I'm expecting Lamar to, want to look much better after throwing 4 interceptions, come back and have a nice game. The defense is looking really strong. We saw what they did when they neutralized the run against the Browns, right? Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, those guys, when they couldn't get it going, that offense was just completely stifled. And if they do that against the Steelers, right, that's the way you beat the Ravens, is to pass against them. I'm not betting on Big Ben, who's ready to retire, to do that. So give me the Ravens probably to hand the Steelers the end of their season right here.
Ding.
I'm just waiting for him to throw up. I thought if we let him talk long enough, he was going to puke. That was the goal.
That's
there.
the reason the only reason I keep saying words is so I don't throw up. Like over under on that is a pick 'em right now.
Danny, the only thing I could see is a problem with it is that they're playing in Pittsburgh, and I feel like, and this, Kenny might agree with me here, like this whole story of, Big Ben has now announced his retirement. He's going to have this crazy, odd, good game. Like, we haven't seen this guy play well. He's falling apart. And yet now, the crowd's going to be like, yeah, let's go Big Ben. And they're going to cheer, and he's going to win this game. And then there'll be all these questions on SportsCenter on Monday, like, should Big Ben retire? And it'll be this whole blown out thing. And that's where the NFL just F's with you a little bit. So I don't know. That's my just a gut feeling that Big Ben saying he's retiring, maybe there's no pressure. He's like, whatever, I'm just going to throw it. And he throws it into every receiver's arms today, and they get a win, or at least cover.
Could happen. My question is, does anyone say, let's go Big Ben? Like, do the Steelers fans even like him? Like, you know what I mean? Like, does anyone even like, does he have support from, nah.
Oh,
Goodbye,
man.
Ben. Good to know you.
Yeah, but you know what, Danny? I'll challenge your theory about it, and maybe it's different sport to sport. But a lot of NBA players, when it's their last game, final game, Kobe's a good example of this, but
Kobe.
others,
Kobe game.
they have like
Kobe
these
game.
remarkable send-off games, and obviously different sport, different. And I don't know if he has the ability, Big Ben, to do that anymore. But there is also that notion that other players, out of respect for the guys that have been in the league for a while, there's always been talk about like how what could be a sure thing sack becomes kind of a more gentle body rub, etc., because there's a little level of like respect. You're letting them know when you're off the field. Oh yeah, next year you're going to be a commentator on CBS. I'll be nice to you now, so you're nice to me then. So I don't know. It's something to think about. I don't disagree what you say. I mean, I think that his body retired for him really, and now he's just go ahead and the words are out there. But I agree that the Ravens seems like the sure pick today. However, this does also scare me as one of those games where the Ravens end up winning by 3 and everyone gets screwed and put their money on them. But whatever, maybe a teaser or something like that.
Yeah, I kind of I'm aligned with Serena on this one. I could definitely see Big Ben having a nice game here. Not based off anything he's shown us on the field, just off of the fact he said he's retiring. I think the team will kind of rally around him to kind of send him off into the sunset. They don't want Big Ben going out on everyone talking like we're talking about Big Ben. Like the guy's a Hall of Famer. He's won them Super Bowls. So I think the team is going to rally around him and really step up their intensity and try and get the Steelers a few more wins before he heads out.
It's all right, Danny. You can go throw up now.
Yeah, thank you. Release me, please. Release me.
Kevin, what's your game today? Lions Vikings.
Well, listen, I talked about it a little bit when we were in the 2-minute rapid fire, and I explained that these over-unders today I find to be lower than the national average, lower than they've been throughout the course of the season. I love it when dome teams battle in a dome, which is exactly what you get today. A couple of dome teams, the Vikings, who have notoriously been pretty good at putting up points. I mean, they're averaging, I think, something like 28.5 points a game. They've been in the 30s a few times. I've got a lot of confidence in the Vikings offense to put up points. I don't have a lot of confidence in the Lions, although even like last week against the Bears, they figured out a way to get up 17 points. Like I feel that this game is going to go over the 46.5 number where it's at right now, mostly on the back of the Vikings, but I do think that we can still count on Detroit to give us a couple of scores, which is something that I'm sure I'll regret saying later on today. It's one of the early games, so if you need a way to be up early, take the over in this one. They will not be affected by most things. I kind of always think when dome teams play in a dome, it's almost like a home game for both teams. I don't know if it's a benefit to be a home game for Detroit, even though, but I just I like this in general. And historically, when I take dome teams meeting up and I take the over, whenever they're around 45, I almost always throw down a nice hefty chunk of cash on the over, and I feel strong about this one today. This is a degenerate speaking. Let me go ahead and legally disclaim everything I just said with, I currently am eating leftovers from Thanksgiving still, so that should give you an idea of where I'm at in my life.
All right.
Oh, we've lost Danny. And there goes Danny. Danny's out.
Does he get a punishment just for waking up today?
I was hoping if I brought up leftovers from Thanksgiving, that would be enough to send him over the edge. If you're going to throw up, do it on camera. For the love of Christ, we could use the clicks.
Yeah, the ratings would go through the roof with that.
There he goes.
Oh,
hold on.
My God. Well, I'll just talk about my game in the meantime.
I feel bad for the couple that's getting married in that chuppah later that he's puking all over. That's the sad part about that.
What the hell was he doing last night? Why he? I mean, come on, everyone knows you're hungover. You wake up, you drink a beer, dude.
Yeah, Jeez. Kara the dog buddy. Can you hear us?
I don't think he slept is the problem, because he was obviously trying on those glasses at a lady's boutique somewhere on the strip.
Oh man. The Colts -10. Let's get to it. They're playing the Texans. Kenny, I'd actually love to get your perspective on this, because obviously if it's more than 7, that makes people uncomfortable. But I feel like the Colts just forgot about Jonathan Taylor for like 3 quarters last week. Frank Reich called 26 consecutive passing plays against the Buccaneers, and yet they still stayed in that game just last week. I predict that they're going to remember Jonathan Taylor and run it down the Texans' throats. Houston has the second worst rushing defense, allowing 135.6 yards per game to their opponents. I've not really felt strongly about the Colts this year. I think they're still going to demolish the Texans. Look, Carson Wentz, he doesn't really have to be perfect. He doesn't have to throw the ball for 25 times. If he's effective, the Colts using Taylor, boom, that's your victory right there. The first time these two teams met was back in week 6, and it resulted in a 31-3 win by the Colts at Lucas Oil. The Texans lost to the Jets last week, and I even think with this larger margin, the Colts will cover. Kenny, would love to get your thoughts, though. Danny needs a rest. He's going to take a TV timeout.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm going to touch this game, I'm definitely not betting the Texans. That's for sure. I would go Colts as well. I've been big on the Colts the whole year, and it's crazy. They're one of the better teams in the league. Like, they should have won last week. They had that big blown lead to the Ravens on Monday Night Football. So for whatever reason, they just can't seem to close out these games and get it done, which is pretty surprising when you have a player like Jonathan Taylor, who you think you'd be able to just turn around, hand the ball to, and grind clock. But for whatever reason, they just can't seem to get it done. But against bad teams, they do win. So I like the Colts here, -10.
Thanks. Danny, you alive there?
Kenny said on this show a lot this year, the Colts should have won this because of this. The Colts should have won this because of this. I feel like he's a big Colts defender for all their losses somehow didn't count for some reason. It was kind of funny. They almost won this one. They should have won this one. This one was a fluky thing here. At some point, you go, well, they lost 6 of these games. We got to figure out where those came
against the Texans. You think they're going to lose to the Texans?
10's a lot of points. I mean, I got screwed on the Texans. As you know, I was pretty confident a few times going against the Texans, and that came back to bite me in the ass pretty big.
Yeah.
Danny's getting bitten in the ass right now.
So totally. Probably Colts beat down. Yeah, I think I just lost us this Airbnb security deposit because I just ruined this entire patio.
Is that your first time out in Vegas, Danny?
Yeah, dude. as you can tell.
So when did you get out there? What's it like? What's this? Got any good stories for us? You up money? You down money?
Probably overall on expenses and fun down a little, but been winning at spent a lot of time at the blackjack table last night. It's fun. This place is crazy, man. But I'm here for my buddy's 30th birthday, so we got like 12 friends out here. Everyone rushing into the casino at once. A couple of us getting kicked out. Like. It's just a good old-fashioned reckless weekend with the boys, and haven't had that in a while. So it's a good time, but I'm paying for it right now as we speak.
Would you say you're up or down on breakfast right now?
Right, down bad on breakfast.
Just plaster Danny's face on Vegas.com. We should be fine.
I am headed to the sports book today. That's the move. A couple of my buddies want to go to the Raiders game, which I'm interested in. Allegiant Stadium looks pretty cool, so I might join them there. But I want to go to like an awesome sports book, sit down in the war room and bet on absolutely everything. So that's what I'm waiting to do today.
You slamming any big bets or what?
I love the Ravens, man. Love the Ravens. One thing is, again, with the money action, like a little over 50% of the bets are on them, but like over 80% of the money is on them. The big money bettors love the Ravens. I'll say I might slam them.
All right, well, let's get to our tickets, Kevin, so that we can let Danny sleep a little bit. Which games are you going with on your official bet slip?
Yeah, look, I mean, I personally love Kenny Bets Big. You guys won me some money over the course of the season. I hate to have to say that I'm double fading Kenny's picks this week, but that's exactly what's happening. My gut, which has led me to excuse me, the little Danny's contagious now in my world.
Yeah, right. Send it
Minnesota,
your way.
Detroit, dome teams in the dome. I like the over in that one at 46.5. I think we're going to be okay there. I think we're going to be feeling good at halftime when we're almost over 40. The Niners, I'm going with, shockingly, Danny over Kenny in this one. I think the Niners are going to cover that 3 easily. And the Bengals, listen, I'm just going with my own trends now. Anytime I've said anything bad about the Bengals, I've been wrong about it. So go Bengals. I take the Bengals to win that game over the Chargers. I've got no love in the Chargers at all. Zero feeling of positivity towards the San Diego Chargers. Last week, the biggest bet, one of the biggest bets in the as far as public money, was Chargers to cover against the Broncos. And you saw what happened in that one. So I am once again riding with the Bengals. That's my ticket. I see, Serena, you and I are on opposite ends of the spectrum all over the place today.
I know. I mean, that's the reality of our lives. But yeah, I'm going to go with Chargers just because, look, they're like 2-1 as an underdog. I feel like they will cover. They may not win this game, but they're obviously going to be prepared for Joe Mixon. And I think they are on the trajectory of getting better. I don't feel like, again, I think I have less faith in your Bengals and more faith in the Chargers, just the way that's going out. And then the 49ers, yeah, I'm definitely not going with Kenny on this one. We forget, we haven't really mentioned, but like Elijah Mitchell now has 4 games with 100+ rushing yards this season. So even though the Debo loss will be a big deal, I have no faith in the Seahawks right now. And Pete Carroll's I don't know. It just seems uncomfortable, even though they do have the 12s. They're going to be playing at home. I still pick the Niners in this one to cover and win the game. So that's my ticket.
Yeah, the Seahawks is a game where I feel better that all of you guys are on the other side, honestly. Because if this, because it's such a sketchy line, right? Like when some of these lines are sketchy and then you see people like catching on to it, you're like, maybe I got to stay away. But everyone is so gung-ho on the 49ers this week. I just think this is almost like the Seahawks Super Bowl. They could potentially, throw a monkey wrench in the 49ers, even getting into the playoffs. I just think this is like one of their biggest games they're going to play all year. And, there's no question Russell Wilson is a better quarterback than Jimmy Garoppolo. So give me the better quarterback, the better coach at home with the points. I love the Seahawks today.
Yeah, but think about it, Kenny. Think about what we talked about on Monday night. Keep in mind, we were pro Dallas on Monday. At least I was pro Dallas. My dog picked the Cowboys as well. Obviously, it was a closer game than it should have been, even than the score would let you believe, because there was kind of that fluky touchdown at the end, the turnover touchdown. But that was one of those ones as well where the public seemed pretty heavily all over the Cowboys, as that seems like it's going to be a lock. And yes, had that interception touchdown not happened at the end, and they had scored going down the field, it would have been one of those ones where the Cowboys win but didn't cover, would have won by 3 and not covered. So that was a good win for me. I know we talked about it in pregame. I forget what your thoughts were on the Monday night game, but that one does set up a little bit feeling like this Niners game today as well, as far as where the public is versus what the stats would show you.
No, yeah, across the board, very similar feeling, and I think the Taysom Hill injury had a big impact on that game. We saw, like I said, I think Sean Payton would have a great game plan. I even said on Thursday, everyone's thinking Taysom Hill is just going to run all over the field. I actually think he was going to throw the ball a ton, and that's exactly what they were doing. He was whipping the ball all over the field. He looked pretty good until he got hurt. So I think that injury had an impact. But yeah, they were right in it till the end. They could have covered, but things got a little lopsided at the end.
If you have questions about your games, your props, your players, etc., you want us to take a stab at them, get them to us in the comments. We will answer. Also, while you're in the comments, you can go ahead and put a prediction as to how many rushing yards Patrick Mahomes will have in the game this week. That could score you a jersey.
Total yards.
Total yards. What, rushing and passing.
Give him the whole shebang.
So if you believe, like I do, that he's going to have a total of 475 passing / running yards, put that in the comments below, and you can get yourself a jersey of your choice. All right, let's get to it. You want your totally exclusive prop that you can only get right here? Sure you do.
Let's do it.
It's holiday shopping time. I have not received the present from Kenny yet, but I assume it will be nice and lavish when it arrives. But just like us out there shopping for holiday gifts, the teams are currently shopping as well. And these are the totally exclusive prop bets as to what the teams are searching for this time of year on their must-have holiday wish list. The Seahawks are currently on the market searching for Russell Wilson's original thumb. His finger. They can't find his. They need his working finger, guys. It's all the fingers, really. These replacement fingers they put on this guy are not working. Get the guy his original hand back. The Las Vegas Raiders are currently looking for a mop to clean up all of Danny's vomit from today's show. If you know that,
that was pandering, Kevin.
That's not pandering. That's a called comedy right there. The Jags are currently shopping for a new coach, a QB, a mascot, a city, and new dreams. That's right. It's a lot on their wish list this time of year. And of course, who can forget the Chargers and the Rams, guys? They're just looking for a win. I mean, between the two of them, I think that the Rams are on a 3-game skid. The Chargers lost 3 of the last 4. It is true that even if you have a very expensive stadium, you can spell SoFi without a W. So get these teams a win. That's all they want. It's just a good old-fashioned basic win. And remember, we do this show out of the kindness of our hearts. So feel free to tip your hosts, your cappers, and your cuppers generously this holiday season. Thank you.
Well done once again, Kevin.
Yeah, I forgot to. I saw Serena pandering for the cup earlier. She looked like one of these wide receivers looking for the flag, on one of the end of the plays. Yeah.
I like the ding. Come on, Kenny. You have no Instagram right now. What are you telling me this for?
Yeah, the flags, man. The refs, like we talk about it every week. It seems the refs are just getting out of control. Some of these flags they need to just leave in their pocket and just let the game be played because it just ruins the game. But it is what it is, I guess.
Straight up. Like I was thinking the same thing, Kenny. I was whatever my bet was across multiple games that I was watching. I didn't even care about how it impacted my bet. It was upsetting me as a fan of football. Like it's not fun. It's just not fun. It's ruining the game. They got to change it. They're too involved in it. Like, step away. No one wants to see the ref influence a game that much. It's just.
I've got a solution for this problem, and that is that the refs have multiple flags on their pants. Some of them that they actually can pull off and throw, but some that are actually sewed to their pants. If they go to reach one that's sewed to their pants, they just can't throw it, and the game moves on. It's kind of like that way we probably get half of all the calls we would have gotten anyway. It's a great solution. You guys want to take it NFL? Roll with that one immediately.
You know how like the official will like throw off his hat if like he's out of flag.
Yeah.
He'll throw the hat as like a marker. They'll be doing that just with their pants. They'll just rip their pants off and be running around in their boxer briefs, throwing flags with with their trousers.
That's realistic.
You've heard what we had to say. Let's get to with primetime punishment. We don't have time for that today. We'll push that off until tomorrow night.
We're gonna pay it off tomorrow. That's right. Primetime punishment. We're gonna pay off tomorrow night. Kevin already has his primetime package. It's a his and hers. Kenny, when you get your package, you will open it tomorrow on the live Instagram. Will be on the Game Day NFL IG account live at 7 p.m. Eastern time, and we will pay off our bets. And this lovely week, it's Kenny and Kevin with mystery.
What's more suspicious? What's more suspicious? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's more shady, this package or what's going on behind Danny right now. What looks shadier? I mean, come on, guys. This is like.
I can't wait. So tune in for tomorrow. We're Monday and Thursday, an hour before kickoff to talk about Monday and Thursday games. In the meantime, we've got our primetime game for this. Actually, we're going to pick on the game for tomorrow because it's way more fascinating. We got Patriots and Bills. So with that said, let's move on and get to your rapid fire questions. You sent in questions today, so we'll get to those now as we wrap up the show. Let's start with any sneaky underdogs that you like on a money line bet today.
I'm not going to give the Chargers. I already gave that one, but I do like the Chargers on the money line as well. But I think the Giants. I think the Giants can definitely pull off the upset. They're 6.5-point underdogs right now. Danny Dimes, stud on the road. I think the Dolphins are being a little overhyped right now. They looked terrible the last couple weeks before. So I think the Giants can definitely get the W.
I was going to take the Giants too, Kenny. I was going to say though, Mike Glennon is the starter here. So we're trusting ostrich neck over here. But he's a tall guy. But his neck is going to win the game. Way too heavy on the Dolphins. We've seen some good games from the Dolphins, but like way too heavy on a Miami Dolphins team that's not that good. Like I could see it as well. And I like your Chargers pick. That's a nice sneaky underdog.
I hate to say this because I'm just going to say Washington on a bit of a heater right now. I love all things Heineke, and I do believe that even though they are the dogs playing in Las Vegas today, I kind of like that as well. So if you're looking for a money line winner, Not going to pay off that much because I think they're only dogs by a point, maybe point and a half. Just trying to see if it updated since we've been chatting this morning. But I like, it's a 1.5 point dog. So I like Washington to go ahead and make a statement in Vegas today, like Danny has today on the show.
Wow. You like Heineke or Heineken, Kevin?
I was talking about the beer. What are you talking about?
It's like, what? Thoughts? Next question. Thoughts on betting on a must-win team versus teams whose season is already cooked? Danny, you're already cooked.
I mean, I'm cooked, and so are the Seahawks. So that's what I'm betting against, a team that's cooked, right? So, and I feel like all these games have been must-wins for the Niners. That's why I rode the streak, because since their Rams win, every game has been so important for them to get back in the playoff hunt, and now they're really here. So, I've seen a lot of these as must-wins for them. They've treated them as such. They've played really well, and I like going against a team that, is pretty toast here. So that's exactly the scenario that I'm betting the 49ers on.
I think it could go one of two ways. Like I said, with that 49ers game, I think this is the Seahawks, like their Super Bowl at this point of the season. But then if you have like a team similar like the Lions or the Jets last year where they're throwing games to get a good draft pick, that's a great spot to bet on a team that needs a win versus a team that doesn't even want to win. But sometimes in division games, when you have a team that has underperformed, has been just embarrassed, like the Seahawks got embarrassed on primetime television last week. These are professionals. I think they're going to come into this game very motivated and want the win. So that would be a situation where I wouldn't bet on the team that needs to win.
Well, how do you handle the Lions who are embarrassed for all the time?
Yeah, it's tough. They're tough because no team wants to go the whole season without a win. So but they're just bad. You can't bet on. I mean, yeah, I like the Vikings.
And the Vikings off a loss too. Like, you got to think they'll bounce back here too. They're in the hunt. Like, I love the Vikings in a teaser. If you're making teasers, that's definitely a leg for me.
Well, that's why I leaned to the over in that one. But that was the reason, though, because I really do believe that the Lions are playing just to not be the embarrassment that has that giant goose egg next to their record forever. Yeah. So I think they do have some stakes there, and I do think the Vikings are going to put up the points as well, which is why 46.5, take the over in that one. I said it earlier, but dangerous. These teams that have nothing to play for are dangerous because sometimes they just want to be a spoiler. Sometimes they just want to put another team out of home field advantage. I'm like Kenny. I know sometimes I've thought teams are kind of throwing it, waiting for that draft pick, and then all of a sudden it's like they come out and they look amazing, and I get really frustrated. I go, what the hell's going on? But sometimes when the pressure is completely off and you can just let loose and go and do your thing, you realize that you're actually not as bad as you thought you were. So
if the Lions don't win a game, would they be the first team to go have 2 winless seasons? I think they would.
They have a tie. They have a tie. Let's not forget about
the Buccaneers. Yeah.
They
have a tie. They have a tie.
Yeah. Against Big Ben and the Steelers, and what's that say?
Right.
Oh boy, I'll be right back. Over under. The over is cashing on me right now. Be right back.
Well, this is good because we are about to talk about the Raiders. Raiders versus.
Hold on, sir. I'm gonna be honest. I lost a little respect for Danny in this show. What? He's got to muscle up here. Hold these down. What is he doing?
I think he was drinking what was his drink? Do you think? Too much sugary little cocktail.
The saddest part is that this is all from him going to the jousting show at the Excalibur last night. He wasn't even at.
Oh my god! Right, we saw Britney Spears in concert. What's happening here?
Yeah, I don't know what he did last night that would have warranted this, unless he took advantage of one of those $1 shrimp buffets. Maybe I could see that. But moving on, next question. Survivor pick for the game today. I don't know how you're down to these two teams. You should have more than 2 left. Raiders, Washington. God, this is a tough one. If the Raiders win this game, they're very much in it. This is talking about must wins. Washington, as you know, I picked them a moment ago as a team that's an underdog that could actually win on the money line today. In all reality, though, I think there's a lot more at stake for the Raiders, why they'd want to win this one, and they're the home team. Kenny, I defer to you on this one.
Yeah, I like the Raiders here. We talked about it on Monday when we did the live, how Washington's pass DVOA is one of the worst in the league. And, Russ didn't take full advantage of it, but Tyler Lockett had a very nice game. There were some open, receivers throughout the game. So Derek Carr, healthy Derek Carr, Raiders offense, pass happy offense. I think they'll be able to exploit that. Washington secondary, who's without their starting safety in this game as well, Landon Collins. So I like the Raiders today.
As Danny continues to save himself. Prop or drop? I actually like this question. Brady to throw over 4 touchdowns against the Falcons. Last time they played, I believe it was in week 2. He threw for 5 touchdowns. So is he throwing over 4?
Nah, 4 is a ton.
Hard to
Especially
repeat
like
that.
the Falcons. Yeah, the Falcons got to come in with a little self-respect in this game. They got 5 hung up on him by him in the first matchup. So I think they're going to try to limit Brady's success through the air. And, the Bucs will win, but I don't think Brady's throwing 4 or 5 touchdowns today.
Right. Maybe they run it more.
Danny is in
Kevin,
bad
you
shape.
there? Did you throw up too?
No, I'm just reading. Danny just sent me this text. He said, "Guys, on the last question, my answer is." "Blah."
Danny
I am
looks like
hurt,
he's
guys.
going for his own funeral today. All black. He's got the shades on. Jeez.
What?
Dude, I'm not okay. Like this is bad. This is like the worst. I haven't been like this since I was like 18 years old. Like this is fucked up.
If you want to win a jersey of your choice, make sure you guess how many total yards Patrick Mahomes will have in today's game against the Bengals. And if you want to win a dirty pair of sunglasses, then guess how many times Danny will throw up today.
It's already we're at 3 already. So yeah.
I'm keeping stats. Impressive.
Oh, my God.
Next question: who will have more total yards? How many total yards will Mahomes have against the Broncos? We just did that one. Put that in the one below, and of course, you can win yourself the sweet
Put your
jersey.
sunglasses back on.
There he is. He's gone again.
No one look at
Final
me.
rapid.
Look away.
One more rapid fire question we must answer for the people, the masses that have decided to put up with us this morning.
I'm so sorry.
Total yards.
Oh, what is it? How many total yards? Oh, I thought that was the last question.
No, new better here. What's the best way to build bankroll fast? Skipping Danny for that. Let's go to Kenny.
Yeah, Kenny. No one's gonna take me
There's
seriously.
2 ways you can approach it. If you want to be like a degenerate and you don't care about losing your bankroll, and the fastest way to build it would be parlays or like crazy props. That's also probably the quickest way to lose your bankroll, though. So if you're just trying to eventually make money and be profitable, stay disciplined. 1 to 5% of your total bankroll on each bet. This way, it's almost like a video game. It's like anything in life. You want to have as many opportunities to keep going. So definitely be disciplined is the best way to make money in this game.
If you can take me seriously, Kenny's advice: the 1 to 5%, like bet the same amount. Don't change the amount that you're betting. If you have like a number that you're okay with, that's a solid bet for you. Bet the same amount. You start changing it. You bet more on this. You bet less on that. Now it's a crapshoot. So I think that's the best way
But
to
drink more.
ensure profitability.
But drink more.
All right.
I do have
And
3
also,
player props I love today, though. If you guys want those, Adam Thielen over 4.5 catches. James Conner over, I think it's 60.5 rushing yards. And Tyrod Taylor under 19.5 completions. 3 player props. Fire on them. Thank you later.
Kenny, I saw that you got hot with player props lately, and all of a sudden you're a big prop guy. You're firing on them.
Yeah, the player props I talked about. I think they're easier to like own in on certain key matchups or mismatches where teams have an advantage in a certain position. Like Monday, it was Tyler Lockett going up against a Washington team that can't stop the number 2 wide receiver on the opposing team. He had a great game. So I think it's a little easier, and I think there's less variance that comes into it as far as refs throwing penalties or calling back a touchdown. You don't have to really worry about those things as much. So yeah, they're fun, and they're fun. The player props are electric. Like last night, I had James Harden over 22.5 points. Comes out 4 for 22 from the field. Worst game of his career, probably. Gross.
Oh my God.
Brutal.
I like
Was that
hearing
Law
our
Nation
cappers.
playing for him?
Yeah, I like when our cappers talk about staying disciplined while one of them's covering their own vomit and the other one is banned currently from Instagram for God knows what. It's just interesting. Well, listen,
All
gentlemen,
right.
as always, it's been a memorable experience. Serena, I don't know what we can say we've learned from today's show. Obviously, broke down quite a few games. There's money to be made. Goodbye, Danny. We will pray for you. Kenny, always a pleasure as well. This is a show that never ends. We take a break technically until tomorrow when we rejoin on the Instagram Live. But if you're not already following, you should be, because, yeah, we have some fun, but really we're here to make each other a lot of money, right?
A lot of money and hopefully not as much vomit. So drink smart today. Like I texted Danny yesterday. I said 1 water, 1 drink. So clearly he didn't listen to me. But either way, Kevin,
Copper.
appreciate you. You look
Copper.
great. When you put you and Danny next to each other, you look fantastic.
Thank you. How about now?
You know what? With Danny the way he looked, you still look amazing. Appreciate it. Subscribe to the Game Day on YouTube. Don't forget, we're giving away a jersey of your choice. You just have to guess how many total yards Patrick Mahomes will have in his game against the Bengals. With that said, another pre-gaming in the books. We will see you Monday night tomorrow for the Game Day on our Instagram. We'll see you then. Cheers.
Make money. Bye-bye, cappers. Bye-bye, cuppers. Have a good Sunday. Enjoy the games.